loud. Hey, well, hello everybody. I'm Brian Burke, the editor of Music and Sound Retailer. I have a sad thing we have to discuss, but I really wanted to talk to Joe Lamond about it, and that's the passing in April of Vinny Testa, the founder and publisher of the Music and Sound Retailer and other magazines such as DJ Times and Sound Communications. But I wanted to get your comment. I mean, you spent a long time knowing Vinny. I mean,
Yeah.
going way back even before you were president and CEO of NAMM. So you've known him a long time. Is there some things that you remember about him that you could bring up?
Brian, it's just I'm smiling in a way in my grief because that's how it is in our industry. Almost like you celebrate and then you mourn and then you remember. And the older we get, and we are getting older, Brian. Sorry, we are.
Yeah.
It does happen, and these were our friends, and in Vinny's case, and some of the others that we've lost recently, they were almost like surrogate fathers for us. They were above us, and they were always there as we were coming up. So it's a very kind of um, moment in transition almost when that guard starts to pass on. And Vinny's an example of that for me. One of those guys who was just always there. I always knew Vinny, and whether it was at Skip's Music or through NAMM. And so it's remembering him, but it's also remembering that there's this cycle that we're in. It's really tough, hard to separate the two sometime in my mind. But we would work with Vinny at Skip's when you would always very kind to write up our events and cover our events. We did some things with Weekend Warriors together. And I just remember coffee shop meetings with Vinny. That's where, we'd have our meetings in the Hilton, whatever of the day, coffee shop at the NAMM shows. And he would come in like remember that old cartoon, Yosemite Sam? Is one of the Bugs Bunny cartoons, Yosemite Sam. He'd just come running in, guns blaring. That was Vinny. He would just come in with this energy, and we'd be like, "Quick, more coffee! Vinny's here," and always great ideas. And then coming to NAMM, there'd be, we did business together. We had Testa TV. We did a lot of advertising, and there were many, many moments. I will just share that we always didn't agree on everything. I mean, that's business in a way. You've got to find common ground. And I can tell you, maybe it was our style, or maybe it was the respect I had for him as my elder. We always found common ground. It never came to some of the shouting matches that I know he was famous for and that I personally witnessed once in a while, but it never came to that with us. And I'll be proud of that because, if I felt we messed up, I'd say, Vinny, hey man, we totally screwed up. How can I make it right? Or there were times when he would drop the ball and he would say the same thing. Hey man, Joe, I totally screwed up. What can we do here? And it was that spirit that I thought made it special. And we're all shocked by the passing. It was not widely known at all. And all I thought of when I heard the news was that, thank God, the last time we did talk, he would always end the calls by saying, I love you. I love you. And it was like, okay, my old dad never even told me he loved me. But Vinny would always have that spirit, just absolute transparency of, I love you. And that's why I was in some ways comforted by hearing of his passing, to know that the last words we said to each other, that we loved each other. So that's kind of, it kind of encapsulates the spirit of how I felt about Vinny. And that is larger than life. There's people in our industry that we can all name by, they're probably not, you could probably have fingers and toes left over if you count them. People that are true character and kind of iconic people in our industry, and there's not many of them, and he was one of them. And he will be remembered. His legacy will be secure. He's got great people like you to make sure that the legacy stays strong. But the industry is not quite as colorful without him. It won't be the same. And future NAMM shows, when it won't be Vinny running up with his camera crew to record our NAMM spot that we would always do on Wednesday afternoon at the Idea Center. Again, even, through the years, the energy never diminished. I don't think he ever tamped down to 95 or 94. It was always 100% all the time. So yeah, inspirational, and someone to really, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him a lot. And, you know, I'll just always remember the last words we said to each other. And I'll always try and remember that, to try and leave it that way with others. You know, don't miss that opportunity to, you know, to make sure that if the unlikely event, it might be the last time you say goodbye to somebody, maybe thinking of course, you're going to see them next month or talk to them next week. You may not. And that was one of the lessons for me, is to remember that that was that was a good way to say goodbye, even though I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for your comments. He will absolutely be missed. And thanks again. We will have a whole retrospective, including these comments, in the June issue of the Music and Sound Retailer, as well as this video. So,
Yeah.
so thank you, everybody.